timing is a very, very important factor because my clients specifically that see me, they come to me because of the speed.
Communication piece is the most important piece for any model call. Don't say yes to everyone and don't do like just the thing that you want to do. If it's not the right fit, it's okay.
Some mistakes that you may want to avoid when you're doing this is offering too many freebies, because that can create a marginal undervalue on your time. Why is she offering so many free things? Is there something wrong? Is she not good at what she does? There's like a weird psychology that can be associated with offering too many free things. Welcome back to the Successful Stylist Academy podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Ambrosia Carey. Joining me today is my girlfriend and co-founder, April Brown with Rooted Hair Extensions. And this is going to be a special episode, a content series, if you will, where we are going to be doing a little bit more deep diving into your business and how extensions can actually elevate your business. Today, we're going to be diving into why offering free installs when it's done strategically can actually fast track your future bookings, bring you your dream clients, and then build your social proof all at the same time so that you can raise prices confidently, so that you can have a stronger, better eco structure for your business as well. So joining me today is April, and we're going to be kind of talking about different systems and how you can kind of set it up within your business just by getting started. So April, hey girlfriend, how's it going?
Girlfriend. Good. How are you? It's so good to see you.
I know. Good to see you too. This is like something that is, I think, very near and dear to our hearts because we really love being able to help others build up their business because their success equals our success. And then it also lets us pass the torch on to the next person, the next gen stylist. And we have just firsthand seen how extensions have been able to elevate people's businesses. But we've also seen the back end of things, how there's a lot of stuff coming our way in the DMs and like WhatsApp and like emails and just like cold calls, cold messaging from different factories and companies that are offering all these things to us. And we've seen how some people it helps their business and some people it actually hinders their business because they end up not actually making enough profits to put back into their business again. So I really want to kind of dissect or talk a little bit further about how people can, first of all, get started with extensions. Like they take the class, they learn how to do it, they're super excited, they're ready to take it back to the salon. And then it's like crickets. They don't know how to sign people up to actually start that process.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the hardest step in anything that you do that's new is getting started, right? It's the first step. It's like the leap. But once you take the first step and you go all in, it's amazing what it can do for your business. So yeah, I think focusing on the first step is crucial because it's really the thing that's going to make you feel comfortable doing your craft and something that you're super excited about.
Yeah. And I think one of the big things that we have really seen be successful, not just within our own business, but just helping people nurture their business as well, is when you first learn something, offering that service at a special rate or even for free happens to give you a little bit more return on your investment rather than just immediately charging for that service. Because for us to set ourselves up for success in the future, we want to have a lot of case studies that we can go off of. We want to have happy, loyal clients walking out feeling confident with the work that we just did. And when we're in that development process, it can feel a little, like, what do you call it? It's like, I think in the development process, it can feel a little like things are maybe taking longer than we want it to, or it's not as clean as we would like for it to be, or anytime we do something new. If we look back on the first time we did it versus the time we did it 5 times, 10 times, and then 200 times, and then 10,000, it's like every time we do it, through accumulation, we get better at the craft, and then we get faster. We get cleaner with our lines. We get more powerful in our marketing message, and then we start attracting more of those clients. But the getting started part, what you just said, is so true and it's so crucial. And I think a lot of people kind of get stuck on step one a little bit. We want to talk a little bit more about like the free stuff. Like when you first learn it, what are you going to be offering to people? And why is it so important to actually offer that? And it's a hard sell at first because a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to give away my time for free.
Yeah.
But I think there's a reframing a little bit. Instead of you offering your time for free, think of it as like you're investing in your marketing collateral.
Yeah.
And if you have these deliverables that you can use for later on, this helps people gain trust with you. They get to see your results. They get to see you grow. They get to see what you're offering, obviously. And then it shows like some social proof, and then you can actually ask for reviews and stuff. So maybe we can kind of like dissect that a little bit more, like the process. Somebody takes the class, they gain the knowledge, they have maybe some tools that they can start applying those extensions, and then they want to start booking maybe their first model or reaching out to a client that was interested in it. And then what are they asking the client for in return when they're giving that free service to them?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, there's a lot of people that invest a lot of money into these classes, and they're just sitting there, they're waiting for someone to book. They've said they take a class and they're super excited about it, and it's crickets. And you really have to go out there and put yourself out there and do your model calls, right? You have to put yourself out there, and you have to be able to be vulnerable and say, "Hey, I just learned something new. I am still learning, and I would love to use you for content creation. And this is sort of the commitment that I'm looking for. Does this align with what you were hoping for, extensions?" And a lot of people, you'd be surprised how many people are like, "I was waiting to get extensions, but I just didn't want to take the plunge." So entry level offers are really great for practice and just great for building your book of content for sure.
Yeah, we've kind of seen it work across a couple different ways. So the way that this can look is it doesn't have to be so black and white where you're just offering a free service to somebody. I'll use some of the stylists that I've worked with for an example, that some stylists, they offer the service to their clients at cost. So the client covers the cost of the extensions itself and maybe a little bit to reimburse your tools that you're going to use on them. So just enough to cover your baseline, and they're getting this premium service basically for free. So it's like your service portion, you're not charging them for your time. And instead, you're getting all the content and social grabs that you possibly can from that. What's also really cool about it is that you get to check in with that person, that client or model that you're using as a tester. And you can ask them for feedback. You can ask them to show you pictures of their hair. You can ask them to come in at the 2-week mark or 3-week mark to see how it's growing out. You can have them come back in and do a move up on them. And you can, just see how everything's like developing in the process. And that gives you a lot of stuff, not just for like credibility, but also just to support your confidence in being able to apply this and make it repeatable. Then you can ask for that testimonial. You can ask them to, just say, "I would love to get some feedback from you. If you wouldn't mind giving a review," you can send them, the direct link to your Google reviews. That kind of helps build your testimonials within it. And then, of course, you have your social content that you can put together to showcase that as well. Another thing that we've seen other stylists doing is they are literally offering it for free. Like they host a class in their own salon. They have models coming in to get this service done. They're recording those models as they're getting it done. And then they offer for the model to come back in to do either a move up or to take the installation out for that model. And what they're doing for that model, obviously, is they're not charging that model anything. They're doing it absolutely free. But it's also showing that like this is something that we do in our salon, and they're just getting a lot of social content out of that. Obviously, when you offer something for free, what's nice about it is that you get to ask for more. So like anytime you start charging money, and the higher the price goes, the higher the expectation, the higher level of like client and what their expectations are. Maybe they've had extensions before in the past, so they're going to be comparing it to previous experiences. If your timing isn't on par, that's one of the biggest complaints I've heard from other clients who have come into previous stylists that, "Yeah, she was really sweet. I really enjoyed her, but I just can't sit for 4 hours getting an install done." And it's like, well, in my head, I'm like, it shouldn't be taking that long. And I think we need to close the gap. It's not about like shaming stylists or making people feel like they shouldn't be charging their worth. I think there's been a little bit of a misconception between that, like charging your worth and charging the value of what the client's expectations are and the service that you're providing.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. I think sometimes people really think that speed is cheap and slow is expensive. And I think we've been conditioned now through trends that that's normal. but clients don't necessarily want that. And like time, I know for me as a new mom, like time is money. Like I am on borrow time and it's busy. So not everyone has time to sit in the chair for 3 to 4 hours. So there is a lot of value in faster services for sure. And you need to learn and you need to discover what works in order to get to that place to perform faster and, super clean installs.
Yeah, and I think also just like getting better at your message and who it is that you're marketing to and knowing what works for you and your business. Like if you want to take time on this premium service and you want to offer like this romantic experience where maybe you're doing a scalp scrub and you're taking the install out completely and you're reinstalling and you're just going through scalp health care with your services, and that includes a blowout and a premium style and all that, that's great. As long as you're positioning your package in a way that makes it very clear for your ideal client so they feel set up for success and they understand the difference between what they're going to get from you versus another person down the road that's offering something that may look similar through the eye, but maybe a very different experience. In order to get clear on that, we have to kind of experiment a little bit and try out different things to see what works for us in our business. I know for me, timing is a very, very important factor because my clients specifically that see me, they come to me because of the speed. They have a busy life they want to get back to. They value their time and they would rather me come up with options that are going to be time efficient. And that may seem as it may look like a full highlight when I'm done, but I actually did like spot placement foils to cover a larger area rather than doing a full back-to-back highlight, the conventional kind of highlight. So that would be one example of many. But I think the same thing goes with extensions. I mean, we have a variety of clients and they all have very specific needs. And if we don't make it very clear in the beginning what we offer and who we offer it to, then a client's kind of walking into it blindly and they may have some expectations attached to it that they don't realize that matches what the upkeep might be. So clients may think that, well, if I come in and I get this done, that should save me more time, right? I shouldn't have to come back in more frequently. But if we don't let them know that a nano install, they have to come back in 6 weeks to get that moved up, and they're expecting to last like 3 or 4 months, and they confuse it with K-tips, let's say, and we don't actually help them see the realization of that. We don't actually like get to lay the foundation up for them. Then they could feel misled. They could feel like, we made a mistake or we did something wrong or that it ruined their hair because it grew out too long and then their hair started to break because of the traction. So there's all kinds of things that can happen that weren't done up front in the communication part. And that's kind of the reason why we advise people in the beginning when they first get their license to experiment with that and to be patient with themselves. I mean, remember how long it took when you went through beauty school, like all the repetitive things you had to do and how painful the process was? Like, do you remember doing your first highlight and just like looking back on that, like, wow, that was quite the ride. Like I spent a lot of time and energy on that. And the results were probably subpar. I mean, I know I wasn't super happy with my full highlight services.
Well, I think too,
it's
also really important to understand that, not every model is the right candidate for the install that you're looking for too. Don't say yes to everyone and don't do like just the thing that you want to do. If it's not the right fit, it's okay because, there's so many times where we have like these master extension artists, but they're only really doing the services that they like and enjoy and they're really good at. And they're not necessarily performing or suggesting the things that are actually right for the model or the client at hand. So just really being confident enough to say no to someone. WEFs aren't for everyone, right? K-tips are not for everyone. Nanos are not for everyone. There's definitely a specific client for each need, and understanding what those needs are before just taking like anyone and doing your thing because you want to get the content, you want to get the stuff going, and you want the practice. Just making sure that everyone feels confident because I see so many times where like I see extensions that should not be in that hair, and I don't know if you see it in the salon, but I see it a lot and it's scary. I'm like, okay, this was not for your hair type, right? but it was done anyway. And the stylist probably, that's their thing, right? That's their jam. They're really good at it. They're probably, that's the thing they want to do the most of, right? So making sure everything's super clear in your consultations and who you're advertising to, what type of hair, who it's for. Imagery is super important. I find some people just post like a bunch of words on model calls and there's no images attached to it. And I think images are super important for people to understand like what you're actually looking for, right? Because then they come in and you sell them on the extensions, but they don't actually know what they look like, right? You're
Yeah.
showing them the swatches, you're showing them all these things, and they don't actually see the actual hair, right?
True.
I mean, I can't tell you how many consultations I've seen where people aren't actually pulling out hair and showing them the difference between each method and why, and explaining it. It's so important.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and I also think the explanation part too either lets somebody feel more invested in wanting to get it done, and you're laying out the expectation ahead of time on like upkeep, how often you want to see them come in, just some things that they can do to make it more successful between, washing it and blow drying it. I mean, I think even early on, like we talked about Genius Wefts at one point, and a lot of stylists didn't realize that Genius Wefts, like they get broken down a little bit faster. And it's not exactly 100% clear on whether or not if it stays wet for a long period of time or if there are certain shampoos that break the bonds down faster. But we have certainly seen over the period of time now where the most success leads to like blow drying it and making sure that you're using specific shampoos that are not going to break it down. Like bond building shampoos have tended to break down that seal faster, and that makes a higher wear and tear. And if we're explaining that to our clients ahead of time before they're actually getting it done, it may make the difference between them deciding to do Genius Wefts versus a hand tied or a different type of weft entirely. Or maybe they decide like, maybe I don't want to do wefts. Another example could be the lifestyle of your client. Maybe a client thinks that wefts are going to be best for them, but they have a really highly active lifestyle and they don't know if they could commit to coming in every 6 to 8 weeks. And they're kind of like stretching more into the several month cycle.
Yeah.
Once you start getting into that process, then it's like you want to avoid any room for error or any room for discussion that you're trying to squeeze them in last minute to something because you're accommodating them, or you don't have the time that's allocated to take care of them. So then you don't feel super successful with that. Or they went too long and they're developing like dreadlocks around the hair or I mean, things like that do
They're the
happen.
dry shampooers, that just pile on the dry shampoo and cause buildup and build up. And, it causes matting, right? It's like a talc like consistency. And you have this grow out and you keep putting dry shampoo in there. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
There's so many things that could go wrong based on the lifestyle, right? It all comes down to lifestyle for sure, and just proper consultation. So, I think one of the biggest things for us, and what I hope we put out when we teach people is that not everyone's the right candidate for what you want to do, and that's okay. But you still need to make sure that you are consulting like very thoroughly, right? And especially when you're doing these model calls, because the last thing you want to do is while you're starting, put yourself in a position to fail, feel defeated, oh, my model hated her hair. She hated the install. She hated this. She hated that. And then you're just back where you started. You're not feeling that momentum that you want to feel.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that I really want those of you who are listening to this, and maybe you're already offering extensions, or maybe you've taken a class, but you just didn't really you had a bit of a failure to launch. Like maybe you just didn't get enough, clients in your chair that kept that business repeat or ongoing. Maybe you feel like you don't have enough confidence to be able to offer it to your clients. That's a real valid thing. There have been times where I've taken classes where I'm like, I don't feel strong enough in this to be able to offer this to my clients yet. Therefore, I need to develop the skill set off to the side quietly. So this is why we're kind of introducing this option of giving your time in exchange for this added collateral, basically, where people I mean, people by nature, they're always going to trust results. They're going to trust results over these promises that you're going to make. On top of that, when they trust the results, they also trust their friends and family that are going to refer them, that they get to see this process on them as well. So they are kind of like a built-in referral for you as well. And then when you're offering these installs, you're also getting, we already talked about the visual proof and the transformations that you get to create for them, the storytelling side of it. But you're also creating this ripple effect where you're getting to choose the right type of, if you choose the right type of model, I should say, then that model will also be an amazing funnel for referrals to you in the future.
Oh yeah, and if they love their hair and their hair looks banging, of
Yeah.
course, you're gonna get so many referrals just by them like living their life, right?
Yeah,
You
it's
that
true.
extension glow up is so powerful.
Yeah. And it's
Yes.
so easy for us to think of like, okay, we're going to a class and we're paying for the ticket, we're paying for the time off from work or whatever, maybe a babysitter if we have kids, or maybe we're flying out to something. So we have to buy a flight, we have to buy the hotel, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that education side of things. But if we got smarter with our education rather than making it about the trip and the journey and all that stuff, and we really focus on the education piece and we just put a little off to the side for our own timing and in our behind our chair, in our salon, in our studio, wherever it is that you're doing hair, and you really made that a part of your package, your mental package, basically, where you knew that that was going to be something that you're offering, I think it makes it feel like more of an inviting process and not overwhelming. And then it also gives you like these next steps that you really want to focus on to design and craft the business that you really want to move into, because we have seen firsthand so many just like countless examples. Like April was literally just talking about one of the examples before we even started recording, with one of her stylists. And actually, can you just briefly talk about that, April? Because I thought that was such a great, it's a visual representation. It's really easy to understand it, and it's also super relatable, just from a numbers standpoint.
Yeah, for sure. So, we tested, I like to test things out in my salon. So we did a test run for the month of March to do a free install with the purchase of hair. And one of my stylists was like, Kate, I want to get 5 new extension clients in my chair. This is my goal. She's really a master at extensions. She does a ton of extensions. She just wants to do more. She wants her full, her books are filled with extensions, and that's all she wants to do. And in order for her to do that, she needs more extension clients. So even though she's already taking extension clients, she has a ton of experience. She's, put her ego aside and said, hey, yeah, I want to do this. So she brought in 5 new extension models that month. And of course, they have committed to the maintenance and the reinstalls and all that stuff. So typically we charge about $150 per row if we're using WEFs, for example. So that's $300 per reinstall or extension. And then from there, they typically need about 6 to 7 visits, roughly, depending on how fast their hair grows, all the things. So you're looking at about $1,800 per person per year for the maintenance alone. And if you times that by 5, you're looking at about 9 grand in service totals for the year. So it's a really great way to up your revenue and your monthly income. And yeah, it's just a great way to get new extension clients in. And people like that are already watching someone like her already want to get extensions by her. They just needed that last little like carrot, so to speak,
Yeah.
to take the plunge. So even if you're new or not, I think it's a really great idea to run these promotions. They don't need to happen all the time. I think, making them super exclusive if you are someone with experience is great. But yeah, it does a lot for your revenue. And that's only 5 people, and that's only one stylist. So
Yeah.
if we're looking to commission salon owners, you times that by 10, we're talking bigger numbers. If you're an independent stylist, that's a lot too, right? It makes a huge difference.
Yeah. I think, just breaking it down into smaller pieces like that make it really impactful for us to see the larger picture and providing a single service to a single person, and just even the 5 people, which is super attainable. I mean,
In 1 month.
like I have five people in 1 week, so it's like, it's really strong to see that, I think, because if we even think about like if we break down the cost of color, let's say, and the application of color and the maintenance that are involved with color, and we were to go through that scale, um, obviously the installation portion, like the way that we operate, and I think this is also the way that we both agree and we kind of encourage people to do this, is that the hair is purchased separately from the service from the get-go. So it's like from the gate, if you are just charging for the hair itself, you're making a margin of profit from that. And then you're using that same hair during the reinstallation process. So there's no more costs going out. Everything else is going in your pocket. It's all service at that point.
Yeah.
There is no other type of service to product, like how do you call that? There's no other service to product income increase and optimization that you can have as a hairstylist today that will ever beat hair extensions for that alone. Because obviously color, you have to use a fresh set. You still have to reinvest that money into it. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, even with highlights, so like if you are using foils or you're using, you know, meshes or whatever you're using, you're still having to use something. You're still having to use product. You're still having to use. So it's like, it's not just your service, but with extensions, like you're talking about beads and string, you know, it's like it's in your hands. Like that is it. The most of it is your service, the bulk of it.
Well, and imagine I came to you and I was like, hey, Ambrosia, can you give me 3 hours of your time and I'll give you $1,800? I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
like, it's really that simple. Right. And you know, $1,800 is just like a number that I have, but it could be significantly more for someone else. Like, I don't know what area you're in. I don't know how high end your salon is. And yeah, it's a really big deal. If I said, "Hey, can I get 5 hours of your like five free installs for $9,000?" You would be like, "Heck yeah, sign me up. I'll do it every day." Right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, and I think budgeting and carving out time to do these like model days or model call, it's just going to come back times 10, right?
Yeah. The way that I've also seen success with this is with even within my own salon, using some staff members as the model itself. So that way they're there for clients to actually get a visual when that stylist is there. Like, you know, hey, can you come over here for a second? I want to show her like what your install looks like. And so then you get to lift the hair up. You get to let the client get a visual on what it actually looks like in the hair. And then that stylist or receptionist or whoever has the install done can speak confidently to it and just saying like, yeah, I mean, I was nervous about getting it done at first too. And now I'm like, I don't know why I waited so long to get them put in. So it's like them being able to talk through it and tell you like how it felt in the beginning. You know, it's fresh in their minds. They can talk about how often they've gotten it pushed up. You know, when they've introduced new colors, like they're able to kind of almost help with I hate to use the word selling, but it is. I mean, in a way, like they are selling it to the client. They're making the client feel more confident in the choice that they need to make, whether or not it fits them or not. But having somebody within your own salon space, it's a really great person to start out with that, you know, process and that free model service, basically.
Sure. Yeah, I would install on as many colleagues as possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. And honestly, it's so much better than like a picture on the internet, right? Like when you can when you can see someone in real life go from how they were before, especially if it's a regular client, like they know that staff, they've seen them and now they see them with extensions. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, what does she have going on, right? And it's just so nice versus like all the AI stuff that you see, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you as a provider, if you have extensions in your hair, that's like going to be the number one, you know, easy way to showcase and talk about it. And if you are a proponent of something and you believe in something, then you should also get it done yourself. Like it would be hard to, you know, be a hair cutting expert when you haven't had a haircut for like 3 years and you're like a little scraggle muffin, you know? So it's like whenever you are like you are the professional who is also able to be a testimony to that specific service. You know about it, you live it, you breathe it, you feel it, you believe in it, and you also get it done yourself. That's going to be the easiest way to sell it. So if we had like a bird's eye view, basically, of like how you can use this in a strategic way, I would say limiting your installs to like 2 to 3 people. So just limit it to 2 to 3 people that you're going to offer it to. Position this as a model call, not a giveaway. That's very different. Different expectations that go with it as well.
Great.
And then choose your model based on the hair type and what it is that you want to showcase.
Yeah.
Also go after personality, because they will promote you or they will ghost you. Like it's a real thing. Like you want to make sure you're very strategic or careful and who you're choosing to provide the service to, making sure that their personality kind of fits your personality, your brand personality, and what your promise is as a business as well.
Yeah.
And then also whether or not they align with your dream clientele. So are they somebody that is like your dream client and you would want to have more of that person in your chair? And if so, they are probably somebody that's worth reaching out to personally and seeing if they're interested and it's an option. The other thing I want to put in as a side note is I think it's really important to position it in a way too that if they want to try it and they don't like it, it's okay. You can take it out. Like there have been times where I'll install on a model and I'll take photos and videos and stuff and I'll ask them, do you want to keep the hair? And if so, you can purchase it at cost. This is what it would look like. Or would you rather have it taken out? And if they say, I just want to take it out. I don't know if that I want to stick with it. I just want to take it out. That's totally fine too. So then you can offer something else in return for that as well. So there could be a different way you position that as well, instead of making the hair the main thing.
I also want to encourage people, like, if you go through your client list and your Rolodex and you're like, and you reach out to people that you think might be a really good fit, like, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not going to offend anyone by saying, hey, Susan, I've been doing your hair for like 15 years. Would you be open to being a model for me? And this is what I'm looking for, because sometimes it's nice to go through your existing clientele and show them something that they've never been able to see for themselves before, rather than, just a random person on the internet, right? And the internet's amazing and there's lots of great clients to be had, but sometimes reaching out to people you kind of know, there's nothing wrong with that.
The other thing to keep in mind too is that when you are positioning this package, let's say together, that you want to offer this for a model and you do a model call, you go through all those required steps. You think about your dream client. There's somebody who you know is going to promote you in a good way. They kind of match your personality and what you're looking for with your dream client. The other thing that I think it would be worth looking into or creating is having an agreement with that model. So that would mean like you require a certain amount of social posts or tags in the post, maybe some before and after photos. You have a system in place that you're going to follow this template all the way through so that you are successful when you're actually doing the install, but you also can be asking that model what else they can do to help support this service to make you feel really successful and make you actually want to keep providing something to this model. If they create value for your business, then they can be like your forever model, and that's a great relationship to have, especially for somebody who maybe they're a student and they just can't really afford the services, but they're the perfect client for you. And you can have this like really great working relationship together. And then also offering like an option for them to give a review or testimonial. Like I kind of mentioned that a little earlier, but I just really want to highlight that as a main thing, because if somebody can give an honest review or give a testimonial and how it feels and their experience with it, that's worth its weight in gold. It really helps with bringing in more of the right people, and people come across that it's a lot more authentic than you creating your own personal post the way that you want them. And it doesn't feel so curated that way too. So I think that's important.
Yeah.
And then I think the last thing is like having a launching strategy. A launching strategy, I think, is your promise to yourself and your business and how you want to start executing it. So that way, maybe there are clients who are interested in doing it. And initially, when you start doing it, maybe you have a beta group of clients where you're going to offer this and it's a slightly lower cost. And then the following appointment, they're going to pay the full service. So this is just a nice way to introduce it, gain more testimonials, gain more confidence within it. And then also it's like you're really putting a huge push toward creating like like collaborative, high engaging material for your socials as well. So that's kind of like the overarching like bird's eye view and how you can make this work for yourself.
Yeah, I love that. And I couldn't agree more. And honestly, think of all that stuff like when you book the course or before you book the course, right?
Yep.
Like if you invest money, you should invest the time into the plan after you've taken the class, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then we also kind of talked a little bit, we've talked about this in class before, like whenever we're hosting classes, either at our salon or someone else's host salon. A lot of our educators talk about this too, but some mistakes that you may want to avoid when you're doing this is offering too many freebies because that can create a marginal undervalue on your time. It could lead to resentment. It could lead to clients thinking, why is she offering so many free things? Is there something wrong? Or is she not good at what she does? There's like a weird psychology that can be associated with offering too many free things. It's almost like going by the store that something's on sale, like the whole store is on sale all the time. It's like after a while, it loses its appeal and allure. And then it just looks like this value, like bargain bin kind of place. And that's not ever what we want for our business. We don't ever want to feel that way. So offering less freebies is going to be a little bit more impactful. Not having clear communication about your boundaries. I mean, obviously maintenance isn't free. So we want to make sure that what is included in that service that you're offering complimentary to the model, that they understand that this is not an ongoing thing, that they get this for life, that it's like the first install will be on you. And then after that, the upkeep will be X. So just being clear and transparent about that. And then not capturing the install. Obviously, that's a wasted opportunity. I mean, the main goal for you in doing this is to get as much social content as possible. If you're not good at it, then maybe consider having somebody like an assistant or bringing in a friend that maybe also wants to learn the install and they want to watch you. Maybe just say like, I would love for you to help me with videoing it. All these, we can have all kinds of resourceful ways of doing this at a lower cost. But if you're not able to set it up on a tripod, you don't feel confident with that, then maybe ask somebody who can help you get those grabs as well, is going to help you just be more successful. And then the last thing that we kind of like emphasize on in our classes is just choosing the wrong model. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah.
Choosing the wrong model can lead to, just you not feeling confident what you're doing. Like some red flags could be like flakiness, or this person doesn't promote, or you say that there's no social pressure at all. And you kind of just make it seem like nonchalant. Like handle this like a real business transaction, even if you are supplying something complimentary to someone. That's all the more reason to be really upfront in what it is that you're needing for it. And then I think it can also kind of like pigeonhole into another issue that I've run into before, which is choosing the wrong model can also be finding a model that has like a specific color that doesn't match the color that you're going to be doing on them. And then you're stuck in this situation that you have to color the hair swatch to match them. It's creating more work for you. And that's also feeling stressful. And then it's not a fair representation of the color, and you won't be able to order that color again. So it's like,
it costs you more in time
and it costs you more. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And fading. And I mean, there's so many issues with that, but yeah, I know. I definitely think that the communication piece is the most important piece for any model call. Like, and do not have those like, yes, you can talk to people over Instagram, but you need to get them in salon in person. Like, I can't stress this enough how many like people want to just consult through the DMs only. It's like, no, I need to see you in person. We need to have this conversation face to face. I need to see your hair. I mean, a red flag for a model for me is someone who just doesn't want to come in for an in-person consultation and wants to talk and talk and talk and talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a no go for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ran into that, but we've definitely seen it a lot. And, it's like people who message you at like 10 p.m. at night. Oh, I have another question, or I've got this. And it's like, no, we could have done all of this in person. So
that's true. I think there's a lot of things that we don't get when we're just messaging someone. We don't get to read the person. We don't get to really see their hair firsthand. Even if it's a picture, we don't get to feel the hair. We don't get to see what kind of condition it's in. We don't get to look at their scalp. We don't, like even just seeing how somebody dresses and how somebody walks, how somebody acts, like it's just all that stuff kind of goes hand in hand with the type of advisement that you want to give them as a professional. It's like somebody may think that they want something, and you already touched on it, April. Like somebody may think they want something, and then when you start to look at their hair and you realize it's not really going to match their lifestyle, it's like if you're a professional swimmer and you want if you want these like a Genius Weft installed in your head and you're a professional swimmer, probably not going to be the best fit for you. We might want to like look at some other options. So I just think it's really important. There's so much value in that. And I think sometimes it's quick to get excited and you want to offer something to somebody. And especially when it's like you really want to have this container of clients that you offer these premium services to, it's really easy for you to just be like, yes. And you're like, well, I'm available and I want to do this. But it can hurt your business if you end up having a series of clients who are not good fits for things. And then the word gets out that like they're not happy with the install or they think that you made a mistake. Like we don't want people to think that we made a mistake on our end just because we missed some of those kind of red flag moments from before.
Yeah.
It's
And
not,
if you're in person, like the energy, you can just tell, if they're going to be a good fit. When you meet someone and you get to know them personality wise, you can really tell energy wise, right? If they're going to align with you and your boundaries.
Yeah, agreed. Completely agreed. So basically, I think in summary, like if we just go through the summary of everything that we really talked about, I think it's important that giving something for free can feel scary. So I think we both want to acknowledge that. We want to say it out loud because we understand that we also have to run a business. We also have to make money.
Yeah.
But it builds momentum and it shows off your work. And it's not a discount, it's an investment.
Yeah.
So if you start thinking of it from those terms, it might not feel so ick, like it takes the ick out of it a little bit. And it also feels like it's very purposeful, very purpose driven, and you're doing it for specific things that you need for your business. So this helps to elevate your craft. It helps elevate the experience, and it also makes you feel a lot more confident. And it's easier to sell that way because it sells itself.
And I don't care how long you've been doing hair. If you are investing in education and trying to learn something new, there is nothing embarrassing or wrong with, saying, hey, I'm new at this, right?
Yeah.
Like if anything, you're ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the thing is like some of these stylists don't want to because, they're amazing at what they already do, but there's so much more that they could be doing, right? And don't be afraid of, trying something new and being a beginner again. Education is it just changes you, and the investment always comes back so much, like times 10.
So if you are listening to this and you find yourself wanting to either launch or relaunch your extension business, just try some of these things with a little bit more intention behind it. We want to see some of your work too, so we would love to hear from you as well. Like whether that means that you don't feel super confident in some of the things you've learned in your own business with extensions, or maybe you've tried a couple of things and you feel like you keep running into snags, like maybe it's like lifting up in the corners, or you keep like the beads keep dropping out, or there's like traction alopecia or something like that you're really running into that scared you. Just know that we're here cheering you on. We have ongoing classes all the time. We really want to ramp up more education in the future. We want to invite more educators in to help with sharing and spreading and just doing things in a more thoughtful way that helps people elevate their business. Because if you guys are growing, then obviously we also get to grow together. So it's a win-win for everyone. And we will be doing more of these Lights series episodes. Maybe we'll come up with a name for it in the future. But we just really want to help you support your business because we've also been through the weeds. We've been through this. It's tried and tested and true. And we've seen people try and fail and then pick themselves back up and then try again and fail. And so sometimes there are multiple seasons that we're going to have to go through until we hit the mark and we just hit it and it goes really well for us. And so we are here for you every step of the way. We just want to encourage you to dream big, set goals, and take action. And we will catch up with you guys very soon.